Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. Today I'm joined by none other than YST, and together we're gonna break down, update our artifact tier list. This one actually came courtesy of Chosen Brad, put this on tier list maker, so saved us the work. Um, but yeah, we're gonna. How are you? Why? Before we dive in, YST, how are you doing? What's up with you?
All good, chilling.
Mm.
Got to leave for Vegas tomorrow at the time of
Oh.
recording this video anyway.
Hmm.
So just doing the last minute, getting ready. I've not even packed a single thing. You'll be glad to know. But
Oh wow, great. That sounds well prepared. Hopefully,
it's bad, man.
everyone, make sure you go over on YSC's channel, watch all his videos, so we get some nice YouTube money to throw it all away in the casinos. Come back home. His wife will be at the, just arms crossed, staring, glowering.
If she
Kids.
actually does that, I'm gonna have to get like a quick picture as like a PNG image. So like when there's bad news in raid, I can throw it up.
uh,
Uh,
the joys of being an influencer partner. Oh man, but right, let's dive into this. We got a big old tier list. We're gonna rank every single artifact set. There's a lot to get through. We'll try to go fairly rapid fire. Let's go. First up, we've got accuracy set. What do you think about accuracy, YST?
it's a nice filler set. I'd
Hmm.
say like I think like since perception came into the game, that's what we're looking for because you get the bonus speed as well.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I just think if you've got nice stats over sets and not over sets, but if you've got like a really godlike piece of crazy rolls, I would consider it. But
Yeah.
for me, it sits maybe C for me. Honestly,
Really? Oh
B.
wow.
I'd say bottom B, C because I just feel like every player's got access to the forge. We do get a lot of resources for it like, in terms of perception. And I would just rather always have perception nowadays. I can't remember the last time I've used accuracy, but
Yeah, that's true. It
I'd
is
say
better.
B, being subjective, maybe B. I think early game to mid game, if you don't have enough perception, is worthwhile.
So I was debating between A and B actually.
Oh,
Funny enough,
really?
yeah, because I think seeing as you can get mythical pieces now, I mean it's somewhat rare to get those. So you need a lot of farming, but if you
Yeah.
did, I mean that's great. Mythical could be super good. Yeah, like you said, I think if you got a really good piece, like yeah, it's not as good as perception, but if you do have a really good piece, I think it's well worth using.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay, cool. Let's go next.
I'm
This
gonna try
is
to be harsh today because
yeah,
usually I always put like S S S A A. And everyone's like, "Yo,
yeah. If
why S T?
everything's
What are you
S,
doing?"
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
like, we got a lot of gear sets to get through. So
Affinity Breaker up next.
Affinity
50%
Breaker,
chance for a weak hit into a
a
strong hit.
strong hit.
No?
I think it's got places in the game since the Phantom Shogun.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
having it
true.
on your Enfeeble tank or for the Iron Twins Fortress. I put it on my Stag Knight is a good example, so I can get
Oh yeah.
my decreased speeds out on different affinities.
Hmm.
Um, I would probably sit it in. It's very niche.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd be
probably
saying
sit it in
C.
C, honestly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's a
C.
C. Yeah, for sure. Like,
It does have its use in the game. I wouldn't say completely useless, but it's just, yeah,
yeah, like
average.
how many champs are you actually going to gear an Affinity Breaker? Like maybe one or two. Sand
Do you know what
Devil,
they've got
Shogun.
this new content that's bigger than the Doom
Oh,
Tower coming, yeah?
that's true.
Affinity Breaker is mandatory for that content.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like out of all the like Shogun's Grove has to be the place where it is the strongest, right? Like that's got to be the Affinity Breaker dungeon, and it's decent.
Yeah,
I'd
it
say
gives
it's a
it a
C.
place. Yeah.
Avenging. Ooh, this for me, this one like pre Bambus, I'd have been like F. With Bambus 4 leaf in there, I'd
Do you
be
know
putting it in
what,
C.
Bambus? Are you a fan of Bambus after actually getting him? Be honest here.
I actually do like him. I can.
Really?
Yeah, so this will give away. I'm not sure when this video is going out because we're recording, but
Yeah.
like I think he's a pretty cool champ for what he does because he's just throwing back debuffs constantly. I think that's pretty nice. Maybe he's only really going to be amazing for hard dragon, but like I'm going for the 4-star perfect soul,
Oh
baby.
man.
I'm getting it. We're getting it. We're locking it
Yeah,
in.
I honestly I got him right. I was so excited to get this champion. You know how I am with these quirky champs and trying to
Yeah.
I felt very forced of him. Do you know, like you're
Right.
forcing it when literally Helia or Helia, however you say his name,
Oh yeah, yeah.
does the exact same thing with no conditionality. You don't need avenging gear. You don't need to put him last in a turn order. He can literally just take all the debuffs off everybody and throw it onto someone, right? So
Right,
I
right.
feel like, and there's a bunch of champions that can do that, like Jing One's A1. Everyone calls him trash as well. So if you call like Bambus really good, we need to start thinking about as these champions as really good as well, right? Because they do the same
Yeah,
thing
true.
in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
essence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, all right. Yeah, it's certainly easier to use like a Helior, where it's just like on
Mhm.
a cooldown and it works, whereas Bambus requires a bit more team construction. but
Yeah,
it
because I was
happens more
actually when I
constantly.
first got in my I was on stream, right?
Hmm.
And I was trying to make it work without avenging gear, and I don't think it's possible. And then I was like, what's
Right,
really good
yeah.
here? Is avenging really good or is Bambus really good? I was kind of in that middle phase of what do I think about
It's
this?
actually funny. Like avenging is
Yeah,
actually a bit better than we thought. I think as well.
it
Like you see
is.
that with
Yeah.
Bambus. I think it triggers per debuff. So if he gets 2 debuffs, it's like two. It's almost like roughly like a 90% chance he counterattacks. It's really high. If he gets 3 debuffs, like it's I don't know 99% or something.
Yeah, I actually thought it
Um,
was based on damage for the longest time ever,
oh,
honestly.
oh.
I didn't realize it was off like per debuff, and I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good gear set. But I'd say it's niche again, same as Affinity Breaker, maybe.
Yeah, see, I'd be curious. Like this, it has such potential to scale. Like when you've got a champ with a crazy A1, like Bambus, with the crazy effect that it really
Mhm.
unlocks, it could actually be quite good. But excellent. Bloodthirst then up next. This is
Bloodthirst is like the better version of Lifesteal, right?
yeah, it's better lifesteal. It's lifesteal with crit rate. I think 12% maybe. A decent chunk.
Honestly,
4 piece
I'd
set.
probably put that one in B,
Okay.
and I would put the Lifesteal in maybe C. Basically, whichever way we go, we have to put the Lifesteal one below the Bloodthirst, right?
Right.
In essence,
I probably would have put both in
but
C,
A,
but I'm fine with
but
putting it in B, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like
let me
when
just
you
double
actually
check.
use it, right?
What's
When
the
do you,
actual chances on the Bloodthirst? Let me just get that quickly. It's 12% crit rate and heals by 30% of the damage inflicted.
yeah, but like when do you like I don't use this on anyone, right?
Yeah, I think. Do you know what this is?
I
Do you
put
know
it
life?
C.
But do you know what? Do you know with lifesteal and bloodthirst and jump and things like that, it's for players that don't have like a bunch of guardian or a bunch of stalwart gear. And if you can actually have a really good set of it, I can see the value for stuff like the clan boss. Like think
Yeah,
about, I use lifesteal for maybe a year and a half. Before
right.
moving into these gear sets, so I think for the first half of the game, before you start farming a lot,
Hmm.
because whenever I do clan boss videos, the first thing everyone says to me is, "What's best after Guardian?" I don't have enough of it because they can't do the hard Doom Tower, right? And they've
Oh
got
yeah.
normal gear. So I'm just thinking for clan
That's where
boss,
you get Bloodthirst as well, is from Doom Tower. It's also
is
a
it?
Doom Tower
Oh,
set.
oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
which boss is that from? Is that the
Eternal Dragon, so I think
Eternal
it's
Dragon?
only up one rotation of the lot, right?
The
Yeah,
thing is,
pretty sure it's Eternal.
if you put that in C, you have to put lifesteal in F.
Nah, I put Lifesteal in C as well. I think
You'd
they're
put them
both C.
both in the
Yeah.
same, but you get the crit rate. I don't know.
I
It's
just don't
just
think the crit rate's like the set's still
okay.
met, I think.
I'm not against it. I'm not against that. I don't think it's crazy good, but it's all
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
What about this is Divine HP, I think? It's actually quite hard to be
It's a
exact with
It's called Divine Life,
Divine
right?
Life. Yeah, yeah, that's the one. What do you think about
Uh,
that? Mm,
Is that a 15% HP and
a shield.
shield?
I'd say this is an F tier set, basically. Just sell them. No, when are you gonna use it? Like again, if you got a god tier piece, but for the set bonus, it's so I think
It
it's
is
so good.
underwhelming. I'd rather use Immortal personally,
Oh yeah,
but
definitely. I
yeah.
I put it in F, and it's also really hard to get as well. So getting actual good pieces, that's yeah, you get them
I'd
from
say it's got like some niche usages, like maybe like do you know like a Gala long braids if you don't have a good shield set and you wanna make full
okay.
use of that extra. There's some little things, but outside of that, it's like I'd rather just use a shield set
Yeah, yeah, right.
or a bolster set. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. Oh, crit damage is up next. Again, another early game set. I think this one's a bit better though. What do you think about this one?
I'd put it maybe high B, above accuracy,
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's a two
personally.
two piece set, gives
Yeah, I think, do
20%
you know
crit
when
dam.
you've got like your lethal or your savage,
Yeah.
players always tend to put the last set as crit damage, right? In a
Yeah.
sense, to get that bonus. So I think it's got a lot of value in the game.
Which
I'd be happy with that though.
I think it's probably worth even putting up into A.
I
Uh
wouldn't argue with that, honestly. I think it's one of
yeah.
the most used sets in the game. Yeah.
I'm thinking as well because the Phantom Shogun's Grove, right? If you want to target
The enfeeble
the thing,
tanks.
yeah, you need the highest crit damage. So it's like sort of an essential set. Like it's probably I'd
Yeah.
say it's much more useful than Affinity Breaker. It's your Phantom Shogun because it lets you like target a Gnarlhorn or something in crit damage sets. That's quite interesting. Quick crit rate then. Crit rate. 2 piece
But you know,
set.
this is where it gets dicey now, right? Because the affinity breaker gives us 30% crit damage,
Yeah, but it's a 4 piece. So
and it is a 4 piece. Yeah.
yeah, whereas this is 20%. So like 4 pieces of crit damage is 40%.
Yeah. I think crit damage to 2 piece set is worth that.
Yeah,
Hey, yeah.
I think it is because it is like Phantom Shogun, stack up a bunch of them.
Hmm.
Or just, yes, because it's a two-piece set, it's the flexibility of adding it in to whatever, like, oh, make my cold heart hit harder, or make my, I don't know, rotus hit harder or something.
Yeah.
Um, I was throwing around a set. I think I've lost it. Well, this one, crit rate. Crit rate's up next. How much crit rate does it
Um,
actually give you? With the two-piece, is it 12%
I believe it's.
or
I'll get it for you
8?
now. It's 12%.
12% for two pieces. Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It has to be in C if you've put Bloodthirst there.
Yeah, it's a
Because
two-piece set. I think that makes it
yeah.
more useful. But it's not super useful either. I feel like I think you're getting more out of crit damage in terms of the stat
I
values
would.
than
I'd maybe B.
maybe
It's,
B.
it's a nice filler set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay. Okay.
guess
Ooh, now we've got one that's definitely good. Cruel.
that's going A for me. Honestly,
Hey, I put
I
it
think
at S,
I'd.
but
I. It's a maybe we could switch it towards the end. We'll see like how many S's we've got.
oh,
But
that's
I think
fair. Yeah,
cruel
fair.
that we I guess like with this kind of list we have to think about accessibility, how much we're going to get of a specific gear set, and
Mm,
you're not going to get anything more than cruel and immortal, right?
yeah.
So I think yeah, you got more chances to get very good pieces out of it, and it's a great filler set. So compares very well with Savage as well. So
Yeah, it's nice. Curing is that. Ooh, this is an interesting one because it's a fairly recently changed set. Makes you heal more, basically.
it
Uh,
does restoration, right? If I'm not mistaken,
oh,
with the
that's right.
change.
Yeah. So that's what they changed. Yeah, it restores destroyed
20%
HP.
bonus heal and bonus heal restores HP. I think that did give it
Oof.
some extra value, especially with Hydra and
Mm.
I'm not sure how useful it is in Sand Devils. I've not really tried that strategy yet.
Yeah,
Um,
it could
maybe
be,
it's a
but you
stretch, but I
typically
think
need regen, I think.
it did give healers a better value in the Hydra boss, and I do see people putting on their Rector drafts or their Wither Crowns or whoever that may be.
Yeah, true.
I'd be happy with maybe B on
Yeah,
this
I
one.
think B. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think this is a set that definitely could be better as well. Like they could easily add more stuff, like other bosses that destroy max HP, and
Mhm.
this could like shoot up in value.
This is a
You know?
problem in the game because we've got such
Mm,
less champions with restoration HP skills. We do need to rely on a niche gear set such as this one to
yeah,
cover that basis. So I think it has to sit around that middle ground just for that.
yeah,
Otherwise, if we had like a bunch of champions in the game that could do it, I would have probably turned it down a notch to maybe C. But
yeah. I think it's cool though. Like we could come
yeah,
back a year from now and be like, oh wow, this new, I don't know, Uber dungeon thing they added, like you need curing set to get
S
past
set,
it, right?
S
S,
tier.
it could be, it could be.
Yeah.
Curse set then has been reworked. It now is a 50% chance, I think, per hit of applying hex. Um,
Honestly, it might sound crazy. I would argue an A on this one now since the change.
I was gonna say this could be an S tier set. Like I
I
think,
wouldn't be against it, honestly. Like before, it was one of the worst ones in the
oh
game.
yeah,
I think it did like heal reduction, right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
we're using heal reduction outside of Never Spider or Fire Knight.
Right.
I think since the change, like basically allowing any champion become a hex option,
Yeah,
is very powerful. There's nothing like it, right?
yes.
So,
I, I
mm,
I think S because in my opinion, like unless you've got a top tier hex champion in your Hydra team, like
yeah.
I think that curse set is basically mandatory. It gives you so much damage, and it also helps you deal with Head of Mischief as well. Like I think it's a must-have set for anyone with like an AOE hit.
Yeah, especially now that we've got to think, we have to think about three Hydra teams each.
Yeah, right.
Having enough Hex champions is very hard, and just being able to put a set on someone that does all AoEs is actually very powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that could be our first S. Honestly, I didn't ever
yeah.
think of it before this video, but I
There we
can't
go.
argue against it. I guess.
All right, next up is defense, which weirdly enough has a heart in the middle of it. I've never noticed that before. That's defense, right? I think it is. Um,
Yeah, it has to be. So it's got a
base
little.
set 10% defense. I think this is an F tier set, honestly. Or is it 20% defense?
No, it's 15%. I'd honestly, I
Oh,
would put it in.
15.
I'd probably put it down bottom C or F. It being
Okay.
yeah.
Where would you actually use, so like maybe Valkyries make her shields bigger, but like even still?
It's a good filler set, but once again, it comes down to the stats you got in that set. It's not like every other day
Right.
I'm gonna. It's not gonna be my mandatory go-to. If I've just got a very good piece for a defensive-based champion, I would consider it. So maybe
Yeah.
like bottom C, but
Okay.
I can't give it anywhere past that, man.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Fair. Next
yeah.
up, we've got Defiant, which is like mini two-piece stalwart with some extra
I
stats.
think S tier.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Yeah.
Defiant up in S tier.
I'll tell you why S tier, right? I remember doing the clan boss draft, and I was like, damn, if I when I was, I think I was I came just under short against Hell Hades in that
Okay.
one.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
have any of that set to like put on my champions to pair with the Guardian. And if I just had that, my Hatatsu would have stayed alive longer. And I would have maybe won at that one. But
Yeah.
even outside of that, it's just a very nice filler set, right? Like being a two-piece, it's
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah, I agree. I also like the Deadwood Jedi stuff that we compete in, the content creators, like that for me is such a huge reason to buy the Forge Pass. Because as you said,
I
like
still haven't. I still haven't. Till this day, I've never bought a Forge
never bought
Pass.
it. Oh, I buy it just for the Deadwood Jedi stuff. I'm like, I want that gear.
It
It's
is
just
what
too
it would
good.
just be for the. It's every time I do a Deadwood challenge, I'm like, oh, if only I had the bolster for arena, or
Oh,
only I had
yeah,
the
right?
fight for clan boss. It's always the thing, man. But
Yeah. Okay. We might switch these in S. I'm not sure yet. We'll see at the end. We can rearrange.
what
Next
is
up
this
is
set?
deflection. That is a
Oh,
Forge Hammer set. I think it's 20% HP defense and maybe 25% chance to throw debuffs back. I've seen it being used like some against Bommel, like you can deflection set the bombs back, I
yeah.
think. But it's
It's
quite
it
random,
is
obviously.
it's niche.
Yeah.
I've seen some like weird case uses in maybe arena as well, but
Yeah.
the four-piece set to
It's a
send a
four piece.
debuff back, like yeah, I'd probably give it a B, man.
B. Yeah. I think yeah.
Bottom B. It's
B or
very
C,
niche,
yeah.
but where it is good, like when you talk about bomb, or if you're struggling with that, you can send the bombs back, and that's one of the hardest bosses in the game, right?
True.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've saw like some Ursagas like with this back in the day in
yeah, it's
arena,
some
but
very. It's
there's
just
better
like you'd
sets.
rather use better sets than that. It's like
Yeah,
it's
now
just a
there's
fun
bolster,
set.
so like why would you use this when you can use a bolster on Ursaga?
I'll tell
Hey,
you what, it does give some nice stats with it though, like HP 20% and defense 20%.
yeah.
Like that alone is pretty decent.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
So
next up is destroy. Um,
I think back in the day, I would have left it at maybe a B.
yeah.
Nowadays, I'll put it as C.
Okay, okay.
I'll tell you why, because, well, I don't know if I'm just being a bit out of touch here.
Hmm.
I just don't feel like anyone uses that strategy, or maybe they do because you get Euros pretty late. It's the Scarab King, right? That's like the
Yeah.
primary reason you would
I
use
think
this.
you can also use champs like well Mithrala, but she's fairly late on. But I think even like Venomage and stuff can do a lot.
Yeah,
Just
Taragi the
poisons.
Frog can do it.
Karagi.
There's a lot of solo strategies for that boss.
Yeah, you
I'm not
don't need
sure
this.
how impactful it's. I don't know.
Yeah,
Where else would you use a destroy set to destroy max
nowhere. Like
HP?
that's the only.
Nowhere.
I mean, they again, this is something they could totally add a new boss. Like a month after we make this vid, right? That is gonna be like curing and destroy set are suddenly the
I
way
tell
to
you what,
go.
it
But
does have
right
uses.
now,
It does have uses in the heal faction wars, though. Do you know for players
okay.
like the Knights Revenant, when people are,
Oh
it
yeah,
keeps healing and stealing your stuff back, and you got to go through it all again and again. I remember
yeah,
using a destroy set to like take down the max HP, so he only heals up to a certain thing. It was a
yeah.
good cheesy strategy,
I'd
but
still say
I
that
think
C.
C,
Yeah, I
C,
think
yeah,
that sort of strat is cool, but I think it becomes less
yeah,
necessary as the game goes on and we get more champs and better
hundred
stuff.
percent, yeah.
I think this is divine critical rate, so slightly
Okay,
better than regular crit rate. So I guess it should go in probably B. It's just crit rate, but
what
it
what
gives you a
what
little shield.
is that? All it is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Divine
Like it's not.
crit rate plus 12%, 15%. It's like the divine life over again with crit rate.
Yeah, I think it's basically it's a negligible difference. It's the same
Just a better
essentially,
version of crit rate, probably. Yeah, just
but
where you
less
put it, I think it's
obtainable.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. This one is divine life, is it?
divine life,
Yeah.
I think. Um.
Oh wait, we put bolster in F. That's divine life. This is bolster.
Oh my God! Someone's
Oh.
probably we
Uh-oh.
just like farming there, lads.
Uh-oh. Yeah, yeah. We got so many comments. We got so much engagement. This video has been promoted like crazy. All right, bolster. That's probably the top of S tier right here, right? Let's go. Divine life we talked about. Bolster. What do we think about
Yeah,
bolster? Top of
I,
S?
I, I can't disagree with it.
Yeah.
It's just the one thing is just you have to pay for it, right? It's
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the
that's
downside.
that's the only downside. But yeah, I have to agree. Like bolster is very good, and there is times where I wish I could build a champion in bolster. But
Yeah.
I've just you know when you got the little the free forge and you get like some rare pieces.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'm
yeah.
like trying my best to puzzle a piece together, and then I just end up taking it off. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's such a reason to buy the Forge Pass because it is such a power spike. It's very strong. And like, if Stone Skin falls off ever, Bolster
yeah.
becomes just more powerful, right? Like with the Polymorph nerf coming soon, a second Polymorph nerf, yeah, like Bolster is gonna become even better.
Who's your favorite bolster champion in the game to use it on?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, my favorite one would probably be something like Necret, but I don't have him obviously. But
Yeah.
he's really good in it. Um, who do I have in bolster? I have like I use Goffred, budget Necret. I use him actually in Tag Arena a good bit. Goffred
You
in
heard that
bolster,
first. You've heard it first here, guys. The budget Necret.
budget
That's your
Necret. Sweet.
your next video.
I've already done that one. It's a while
Oh,
ago.
is it?
It's
Oh,
an old
see,
one.
I'm such a bad friend, man. I didn't see that
Golden
one.
oldie. This is divine offense. I think.
Is that divine? It looks like.
I think
thought
it's
that
divine
was
offense. It's a bear. I think it's a pretty garbage set. I'd actually almost put that in F.
divine
Like
offense.
I think it's 15% attack plus a little
Ah,
shield.
yeah,
I think it's just
that's an
trash.
F right there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just
That
so
that needs a
much.
change, man. That's a attack plus 15% and a 15% HP shield. Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah,
Um,
like the crit damage is so much stronger. Cruel is way better. The ignore
I
defense.
tell you what, I
gives you so
do
much damage.
use divine offense honestly in some situations, but it's mainly the stat thing again because it's a two
Right,
set.
right,
But
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the actual set itself is just it's meh.
gotcha. Divine speed. Those
S tier.
S tier. Yeah, I
Yeah.
I agree as well. Yeah, it's funny. Speed set, it doesn't give you like a ton of stats, like
Mhm.
compared to other sets, but it does give you the most speed of any set, and
Mhm.
that's very strong. Well, I think we'll come to protection. It's I think better now, but yeah, like just stacking speed. It's a binary thing. Either you go first or you don't, right? So stacking it up is very valuable. Yeah, I agree. It's
Yeah.
S. Fatal. I think this is 15% attack, 5% crit rate. Um, the Doom Tower set. I think it's
It's
from
the
the
one
Magma
from
Dragon. I think.
what's
Uh,
another one from the Magma Dragon?
maybe. I don't.
I don't know. Yeah, there's so many sets in this game. It's trying to
Yeah.
remember them all.
Like again, I think
Um,
this is. Again, I think it's probably like a
crit,
B
crit
or a
rate plus
C.
5% attack is I'd put it maybe a bit higher into C.
Yeah. Okay. Bit higher into C.
Yeah, because it does give the crit rate, and we've given crit rate a B, right? So
Yeah.
having that is valuable for players to, you might be falling a little bit short. You put that set on, and boom, you got your little
Yeah.
5%.
I'm
So
kind of feeling like demoting crit rate when we come back to it, but we'll see. But
I do it from the start. I was like, we're gonna move this down a little bit, man. That
crit rate?
because
We do it right now.
no, but the thing is, I put it above fatal though. Just because actually, I don't know if I do.
Would you?
Maybe
I
I
think
put.
Fatal's probably. I don't know. It's close. I think Fatal gives you more stats overall.
Honestly, I'd probably put fatal where crit rate is, and then I'd put
Okay. That makes
No,
sense.
I'll probably leave them all in B.
All
If
of
I was
them. All of
thinking,
these. Okay.
but just in different ways. So I probably put like the red skull as maybe the top
Nah,
above fatal, or you put
I think just think of these two as the same, right? Like the shield is.
yeah, pretty much.
It's nothing, right? They're
Yeah,
the
I think
same.
attack percent plus. I think it's a good filler set fatal. I'd be
Okay.
happy with B. Yeah.
Fortitude is up next. I think this is resistance and I think it's some defense. I think. I feel like this set resistance is just not a great thing to build that much in the game. Like it's bad. It's weird. It's like decent for PvE stuff, but resistance doesn't see much use at all at the moment in arena because it's just too easy to increase accuracy and strip, or debuff anyway. I think it's.
I don't even think I've got a single piece of that on my account. I'm trying to look for the.
It comes from Bommel. That's the Bommel set. I'd say it's probably a B tier set. I probably would put it a bit higher up in B. As like, okay, cool. You want to build resist on a champ? And yeah, that's that's the thing you can do. But it's only a 2-piece set as well, which makes it quite valuable, I think. But I don't know. Like I feel like you don't get that much of it because it's Bommel's kind of a pain to farm unless you got the.
I don't think
Nishak
anybody farms it. This is the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because
But we
lethal's
do,
there, and lethal's
but
so
we do
much better.
over time technically just get pieces for it, right?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I'd say B. Ooh, a controversial one. The new Frenzy set.
Get that out of here. Real
F.
Machinelia.
F tier? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it F until Ray changes it back.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just really weak. There's really not a point.
Do you know what? I really don't know why they changed it. Like, even take the Cornelia thing out of it for a second. I honestly thought it was a good niche set that played the role to some good champions. Like, I've used it on Wither the Crown before, on Skytouch Shaman. What's the other one? That dude that likes to kill himself, Nogdar, Cornelia. They ruined so many strategies by taking it out. And
They did, yeah.
do you honestly like the new, like, even if you like the old one, do you like the new one?
No, it's pretty bad. I
Like,
did try it
5%
briefly
tenure
on
for
Bambus.
each debuff received, like.
I know. I tried it briefly on Bambus, and it's like, it's not great. And then I tried avenging. I was like, this is a million times better for this champion. I think frenzy. I think it's just undertuned. I think it needs a buff. It's just not good.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
just don't
Get
get
that
that
out of
many.
there.
You just don't get enough debuffs basically ever. So no. Frost set, 4-piece set. I'm not sure. Is it like 20% chance to freeze an attacker? I'm not.
It's a 20% chance to freeze. Yeah.
I'd say it's like an F. This set. I feel like this is something not even worth keeping.
It's very early game stuff. Like
Yeah,
if you get like your first hit of freeze, you might put it on a defensive champion in arena. Just I don't know.
yeah. But I
Because you
feel
do tend to get a lot of frost weirdly at the start. Like when you're just doing a bunch of dragon, right? You're gonna have
right.
a lot of frost at the beginning. I put it on like, I think my Python or somebody on my free to play account.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it can annoy some people, but anywhere past mid game, I don't see anyone using that. I
Yeah.
might be wrong. Let us
No,
know in the comments,
I
guys.
agree. Well, come to Frostbite, which I've got a much stronger opinion on, but I think
Yeah,
Frost is pretty bad. What do you think about Fury? I actually don't know what to think about Fury, to be honest. So Fury gives you more damage the lower your
the more
life is. What do you think
it's
about this?
it's very niche, I
Okay.
would say. Like champions like Leorius are great for it. I think it's got value in clan boss maybe.
Okay.
Because I'd say traditionally unkillable teams where you don't have full HP, you
Mhm.
drop everyone down a bit and then you're dealing more damage, right?
Right.
But then again, can everybody build a whole team in Bloody Fury? You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
Um,
C
I probably,
tier
I probably, I
for
probably
B?
agree with like a C next to Destroy. It's got some niche usages, but
Yeah.
not like used all the time.
Okay.
I'd agree with. Yeah.
That down. Guardian is up next. You were
S
mentioning
tier.
earlier S tier. Yeah, you're a big fan of
Yeah.
this set.
One of my favorite gear sets in the game for I'd say Hydra and Clan Boss.
Mhm.
I think anyone that's got like any element of protection, you know, like ally protection, increased defense, or just like a tanky boy. I even put my panda in Guardian as well. Like because I'm not using him for Dragon. I just like having him because if his whole element is soaking up debuffs, I'm just gonna soak up damage as well, just make him a super tank. But
Right.
yeah, I love Guardian, man. One of my favorite sets.
Yeah, it's good. Ooh, another good set. Immortal.
Next
This
to Crew.
Yeah. Arguably,
Yeah.
these should be S tier. We might come back to
It's
that.
it's
Oh.
arguable. I don't know if it hits it for me,
Like
honestly. But
the thing about Immortal is it does make a surprising difference for some solo strategies running Regen and Immortal. For some reason, that gives you like enough healing to make a
it is the
difference.
go-to set. Yeah, it's like whenever we're doing videos as well, Regen and Immortal.
Yeah, like Savage and
I guess
Cruel.
we can come back to it. Let's see how many
Yeah,
A's we
okay,
got. We can try keep
exactly.
it even, right? In terms of
Yes.
the
I think this is the original immunity.
immunity.
I think this is drop garbage. Honestly, I think the problem for me with this set is you've got the Doom Tower set, which is just better. Stone Skin is just
Untouchable.
better. Yeah, Untouchable's better. Um, I think there's just so much better.
I
I
think the
wouldn't
game's
keep any.
changed a lot. Like back in the day,
Yeah.
I would have been like A, honestly. Nowadays, I'm thinking maybe B/C. I don't think
Okay.
anyone uses it, man. I would
No.
have put like low C, maybe like higher up towards the avenging.
Okay.
Yeah, around there, around sitting in that area. Yeah.
Sure. All right. Cool.
Would you agree with
Instinct.
that, though? Do you think I'm being harsh on that one?
No, I think you're being generous. I'd be putting it in F probably. Like I just sell
Oh,
it.
is it?
I would. Yeah. I think it's garbage. Like
Yeah, I think
you can just
once you
strip it
start
off.
getting untouchable
Mm.
sets, it's just a straight out swap, and you can farm that from Doom Tower, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I don't
So
even use them touch. Like I don't even. Very few
I
people
tend
even
to a
use them.
little bit, not
Okay.
too much though, but
Yeah. Instinct is up next. This is Forge Pass. I think it's actually the current Forge Pass has this set. It's 20% ignore defense and I think it's 12,
it has to be S, man. If we
10%
put
speed.
divine speed, we have to put S.
Yeah, it doesn't give
Because
you as
by the
much
way,
speed,
it's
but
12% speed and ignores 20% of enemy defense. That's a nice filler
12%
set,
speed
man.
ignore. Yeah, it is a 4-piece, so
Oh, it's a 4-piece. I thought it was two.
no.
I was looking there for a second. I was like, yo, have I not been buying Forge Pass and you got sets like this? It's got to be an A. Yeah,
Yeah,
A.
I'd say
Yeah.
A. I definitely think it's A. It's very. I'm actually gonna
Actually, I
move
don't
these.
even know. You know, the 4 sets threw me off a little bit.
I think it's good. I think it's good. My opinion on this set is that it is almost as good as Savage and Lethal. Like the extra that 5% ignore defense actually makes a big difference. Like Cruel is actually I think really strong because that 5% ignore defense is very good. Surprisingly good.
Do you know who this would be really good
I think the
on?
speed though, the speed especially with live arena for me has moved this way up because I think ignore defense and speed. That's what you
Yeah.
want for live arena. It's fast nukers. Um, I think it's very strong.
Yeah. I might consider putting my Son of Wukong in that, you know, because I
Oh
like
yeah,
having I got a bit of a hybrid build going on, and I got lethal at the moment,
yep.
but maybe I'll just get more value out of the bonus speed.
Yeah, I think it's a
Yeah.
great set, actually. I think it's really underrated. Like, for a long time, it was like, oh, wow. Like, okay, it's weaker than Savage, but the speed isn't that useful. I think with Live Arena, it's kind of changed the meta. Now speed actually is super useful on nukers. Um,
Yeah. I've never
yeah,
considered that set, you know.
there you go. All
So,
right. Well,
yeah.
we spoke lethal. Lethal for me is S tier. I
That's
think,
S, I think, right at the top, man.
yeah, I think it's the best set for nukers. It's the most ignored defense plus a bunch of crit rate as well. It's the best set. Bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's like that's
Um,
the one thing we see, right? When we do Dark V guides, is
yeah,
for
you
the
gotta
main
farm it.
reason we do them is so everybody can, farm lethal. It's like
Yeah.
free Savage, but a better version. So
Yes, exactly. All right. Life. I think this is basic life up
F.
next. Yeah, F is I agree. It's
Yeah.
terrible. You needed to do like those missions at the start of the game where it's like you must put all life
Yeah,
here. That's it.
put 2 HP champions in life, and then put 4 sets of life, and then 6 sets of life, and then do it on 5 champions.
Right.
Some weird rubbish.
Lifesteal, I would say is I think it's basically the same as Bloodthirst. I think they're
Just a little bit below the same as we did with
yeah.
the.
I think it's virtually indistinguishable. Regular attack set. Yeah, I'd say it's F. Like you just sell that one. Just there's so many. There's so
There's
many.
so many that
better
has
versions.
attack percent within the
Right.
offense stats, so you don't need it. Yeah.
Next step then is perception. I think that's S tier.
Honestly, S, man.
It's gotta
Yeah,
be. It's so good.
most used set in the. I'd love to see the statistics from Raid. Like,
It's definitely
what
the
is
most used set.
It has to be perception. It has to be the most used set in the game. Honestly.
Yeah, I think it's just so good. Like,
Wait, is
speed
the
and
perception
accuracy?
icon the boss from the faction wars? It looks like it.
Might be. I've never looked at it. in depth.
It does. Can you see like you see that the boss
do
looks
see,
like that, right?
yeah, I
The
know
eyes
what
and
you're
the kind
saying.
of helmet thing.
Yeah,
I never
I see.
noticed that.
There you go. But yeah, like you said, I think it's gotta be
wait,
by far the most used set in the game. Speed and accuracy are
It
always
actually
good.
is. It's because we get the materials from faction wars,
Mm.
and it is the boss. I've never noticed that, and I use it every day.
There you go.
Oh, I'm gobsmacked.
Ooh, protection. Now, I think before I would have rated this as like a B. In my opinion, this is now an S tier set. I think protection is insanely good now. I'll tell you why, because you look like you don't agree. The reason why
Yeah.
is because of the accessories, right? It's going up to 9 pieces and it got buffed. So like for me, like I now have a Sifi. She's got double speed, but because I've got a protection amulet. She now has 5 pieces of protection for that speed.
Yeah, it does kind of add to the element because you're getting more set bonus than you can get from any other set in the game apart from Stone Skin.
Yeah. Like
Um,
if you have now a 9 piece of protection, you are like 4% speed behind triple speed. So you've got almost as much speed as triple speed. But you're also getting a bunch of resistance, HP, 75% chance of protected buffs, and allies doing 5% more damage for each buff plate. I think it's really tough to get these accessories. They're Hydra Clash specific, but I think it's like the new top set, new like best in game.
Okay.
I think it's insane. Like, yeah, my fastest gear now is protection. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's faster than
Yeah,
my speed gear.
I was gonna say like high A is kind of where I thought.
Oh, I'm an S tier protection boy now.
S tier protection boy.
I've been converted. Is this taunting? Taunting, I think it's called, or provoke. I use this.
I think it's provoke set. Yeah.
Provoke.
I love it. I think it's in B though.
You think it's B?
If I'm
Is it
being
just for
subjective,
Hydra,
because
really?
I just don't think anyone's gonna use it outside of Hydra, man. Like,
Well, that's true. Yeah.
and even then, like there is a F ton of provokers in the game, so you don't
That's
need
true.
it. But for players like me, I like to put it on champions like Coroner, or I don't know. I just feel like not everybody needs it, but it does have a value. I'd probably say high B. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
How about you put it? Yeah.
I want to put it in A, especially because A is a bit smaller right now.
Yeah.
Let's go
Do you
low
know
A.
what? I
then.
remember
Close
it's a weird one. I feel like everyone has so big drastic opinions on it. It's like some people are like, I have got taunt champions, I don't need a taunt set.
Yeah.
Then on the other hand, is like I don't have enough taunt champions, so I need a taunt set.
Right.
So I guess it just comes down to individual players, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a bunch of very strong sets in a row. We've got reflex set. I think this is super strong.
Where would I put reflex?
For me,
I would
it's gotta
argue,
be
I'd argue S, but I
A or
might
S.
settle for high A.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking. Like, I use reflex on max HP champions.
Yeah.
Geomancer. Who
Yeah.
else? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it has to be S. I do. I think it's very comparable to Relentless, and Yeah, I think you do use it a ton, right?
I've
This is the best
mm,
set for a lot of champs. Um,
it is really good for a lot of
and even
champs.
like champs like Kantra, or I use Reflex on Kantra. Champs like Rector Draft as well. It's an amazing set. Like, it's one turn.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? I do agree with that. Even in clan boss like ally
Mm.
attackers,
Yeah,
there is a lot of value here.
yeah. All right. Ooh, Regen. This probably. I think this has to be S as well.
Man, that S is looking steep right
S is
now. Like,
stacked. Yeah, right.
oh man.
But I don't. There's none that I would demote. I think they all deserve to be up there in S. Honestly, like
Mm.
Regen again. It's just for soloing. Like, that's the set. If you need to solo dungeons, right?
Regen,
It is the set.
I would give it an high A, honestly.
You think? Oh, you're mad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, so you can do it for solo strategies, yes.
Yeah.
Are you using it on champions if you're not soloing stuff? Be honest.
No, no, no. It's just for solo stuff. But it's like
This is what I'm
four.
saying. I'm like, if you start thinking about that now, like it's very ST in that niche scenario. Maybe one champion on your account to solo a dragon, but or like a
Yeah, like it's for me, it's essential. I'm like Godseeker to do Sand Devil, so I need it for Sand
it is.
Devil.
Yeah, that is true. It's
Use it on for soloing the shield guy, whatever the shield, the Scarab boss. Need regen for that as well. Like, I don't know.
hmm
I feel like yeah, if you're gonna do,
yeah,
I see
it
what you're
is
saying.
used a
Like it is a
lot.
bit more niche in that sense. Like yeah, you don't need to do like solo duo strategies a lot of the time.
Yeah, I
Super
think no. That's what
useful.
I'm saying. Is like people do make these solo strategies, right? And it is great. It saves you a bunch of resources for building a whole team.
Hmm.
But I think most people can do that content without doing a solo strategy. I think they just look towards that because it's less resource intensive, right? To do
Okay.
so. Um, but I wouldn't be against an S. I just think the S is way too stacked right now, and
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I'm just trying to
Relentless has to
be.
go in
I'm
S
trying
as
to make the
well.
hard decisions here to be like. This is the thing. I would agree with Relentless being S.
Yeah.
Or do I? Do
Ah,
I?
it's definitely S. It's 100% S, man. It's like the best damage set for Hydra, bar none. It's like the best.
For Hydra, where
Yeah.
else are you using it?
I don't know, but like all of it goes into Hydra because I need 3 Hydra teams and it's the best damage set. It's also like the best buffer set as well for like champs like Ugo and
I'm trying
stuff.
to play like the
Oh man.
alternate side today.
No,
Trying to
it's
be
definitely S. No,
yeah. No, no, I agree.
we can
I think I do use Relentless a lot.
yeah.
Great set. Yeah.
We can rate this one low. This is Resilience. I think it's 10% HP defense, 2-piece set. It's a good filler, but
It's a
fairly
good
filler.
filler. I'd probably sit it next to defense.
Yeah,
Just above
better.
defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Resistance is up next. And I feel like this one does struggle a bit.
I think it hits the F, you know.
F.
Actually, no, but
I'd say
resistance
C.
is valuable. I'd say C because
Yeah.
it's a two-piece set, right?
Yeah. 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 Again, we mentioned this already, but resist is a little bit awkward to build. I think you would use this. I put it fairly high up the C, actually. I put it fairly high. I think this is a set you would use, actually. But
Yeah, you would use it, but I don't know if it sanctions a B. I feel like there's a lot of sets like the
hmm,
Untouchable gives us 40 resistance and immunity, right?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, if you're thinking about caliber of that kind of sets, you can't put it near
Yeah.
those, in my opinion.
And like Stone Skin and Protection give you a good bit of resist as well. It's like
Yeah,
there's
like there is sets that gives us that
Righteous.
resistance stat without actually need a resistance set.
Yeah.
So I think it's got value, just not a crazy value. Yeah.
Next up, we've got Retaliation. This is 2-piece now.
That's an A. That's an A for me. You know, I never thought
Yeah,
I would say that.
I
I think
agree.
it's a very good set for fillers.
Yeah, I think it's a great filler set. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much of it that's good, so I haven't used it much, but it's got to be pretty useful
I'd say
just in
especially
general.
for champions like I know people like to put it on Fenax.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, people with very hard hitting A1s like Kanjafons, like they put like their savage, their lethal, and then maybe a retaliation on it. Same way that we'd use like an immortal or crew, right? It's like that
Yeah.
two-piece filler. So yeah.
All right, Savage. I think Savage has to go up in S, surely. Gotta, it's gotta.
You know, it does belong in S, right? It does belong in S. I'm just thinking if we've got Dark Fate in S, does
Yeah.
it sit next? It is
I
the
think,
next
yeah.
best thing. It does deserve it, but Savage, it does deserve S, yeah.
I mean, you've got so much Savage on your account. Like, and people farm Savage like
I use
crazy.
Savage all the time, yeah.
Yeah, like it's got to be an S tier set. Like I
So
see
you
what you
put
mean.
bolster
If you had
above.
unlimited, if you had unlimited lethal, then yeah, you wouldn't ever use Savage because it's a straight upgrade. But
Yeah,
reality
Savage
is,
is farmable, yeah.
Yeah, and you need to build so many nukers in the game. Like, you just need a lot. So it's sort of like an availability thing.
Mm.
Shield set. So it's bolster, but not protected.
B.
Yeah, I agree with the B. I agree with B. Yeah.
Does have usage. I just
Yeah.
think better options.
Yeah, like it's quite decent with the seer team. Like, give everyone a shield so she can rip it off for an extra buff. That's good.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I
like,
don't see it being used a ton nowadays though. Like
no.
if you've got bolster set, you're not using shield set.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Day set then. Okay, another
F.
bad, yeah, trash.
That's like the worst of the worst, man.
Yeah. Speed,
What would you like
regular.
to, what would you like to be seen done to day set? I think this is one that needs a drastic change. I don't think anyone uses that. They can't be. Surely not.
Yeah, that is.
Because what does it actually? So it does like a sleep.
Yeah,
25% chance to place a sleep debuff. You're having a laugh. Like
yeah,
what is that?
it's dreadful.
Um,
I don't know. I don't know what you do
I
to make
don't.
that.
I think they just remove it from the game, man.
Yeah,
Don't even change it. Just get it out of it, man.
maybe you could up the chance, but only on single target or so. I don't know.
It has to be a 100% chance to place a sleep. It has to be. It has to be. That's the
That'd
only
be
way.
too strong though.
I'm just thinking, like, to give it a use. Like, imagine like Sand Devil's Necropolis,
Because
right?
like artifacts
Everyone
can't
can
be
get a sleep
resisted.
champion.
Even, you know, you can have it be that strong. But I see what you
Yeah,
mean
but
for Sand, like
this-
for Sand Devil, yeah, kind of needs to be 100%, right?
Yeah, I don't. I
awkward
just don't.
attack.
25% chance to place a sleep is just rotten, man.
Yeah, it's garbage. Stalwart, what about that? That's a good set.
Before I would have said an A.
Yeah,
I think it sanctions a very high B.
IB. Okay.
Yeah.
Down with that.
I think because we got the Defiance in the game, we got
Yeah.
Guardians, there is other ways to absorb damage. Whereas back in the day, it was kind of Stalwart or Bust from the Dragon, right?
Okay.
So I think it is used. I still use it. I got it on my Liddy the Death Siren to this day. But
Fair.
yeah, I think high B is.
Yeah. It's
Where
good
it
for
says.
it's good for like Ice Golem hard. I do like it there, but it's not
Yeah.
necessary. But it's nice.
Yeah.
Stone Skin is up next. That to me is an S tier.
It's an S. It's an S. Yeah.
Busted, obviously, for
I'd
so
put
many
it.
reasons.
I'd probably put it above Bolster.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
I think Stone Skin's used like. Have you ever hit a live arena battle and not seen Stone Skin?
Well, you don't see
sometimes,
that,
right?
but not often. Yeah, I built a
haven't
speed
seen
team,
that.
so I often don't run any Stone Skin. I use speed in live arena.
You
but
don't use Stone Skin, you liar. I see
not
your
much.
team.
Not much in live arena. I use it
you
all the
filthy
time in
Stone Skin.
tag, yeah, but not much in live.
Every time I go on the test server, I'm trying out new champions, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, Nubs is gonna set me up with
Yeah.
a nice, like, a nice fun team. I go there, it's just, do you want to see all the Stone
Yeah.
Skins got? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like,
And now there's accessories as well, so you can like potentially build a champion in like lethal and stone skin, which is going to be so broken. So yeah, it's super busted. Like hopefully the polymorph nerf will make bombs more viable, so that's a decent way to counter it. Then HP burn sort of counters it, but like it's so hard to actually put and explode HP burns. But yeah, okay. Speed is up next. I think actually I moved speed around. We're supposed to talk about that earlier. Speed is probably should be up beside divine.
It's S with the divine speed. Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. Because again,
honestly, do you know what? Which one's irking me a lot?
which one?
The Hex set.
Hex.
I think it deserves a high A.
Okay, yeah, we can put it high A because it is just like
I'm
it's a
looking at it,
Hydra.
right? And I just feel like there's
Yeah,
the sets that we got up there just doesn't look like they sit alongside. Like it is very, very good in one area. I think the Hex one, but whereas
Yeah.
I feel like these ones have some more universal value.
I'd
around the game.
put Guardian down as well. Personally.
No way.
Yeah, way.
No way.
Yeah, way, man. Like
Oh, this is
you
what happens,
don't
guys. I pushed this
need-
Hex down and he pushed my Guardian
You
down.
don't need Guardian. I think it's pretty comparable to Regen. Like
I
you
think
could
you
get away
need-
with never using
Okay, let me tell you. I'll tell you the difference, right?
it. Okay.
Do you know in Clan Boss, right?
Right.
If you are not running an unkillable team,
Yeah.
right, and you're running an allied protection squad, Guardian will give you so much more damage once you start stacking it, right? Like you see that Taroki the Frog team that you're quite familiar with, right?
Yeah.
That team without Guardian, like my team would usually do 120 million.
Mm.
Once I put Guardian on everyone, I got 170 million.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's the kind of difference because everyone's starting to absorb that damage and they're all healing without actual healers.
Right. Right.
But I don't know. If I push the Hex
alright,
down, you can push the Guardian down.
Yeah. I tell you what, if
Yeah.
they add in like Demon Lord Clash, we'll move it up to S. But for now, it's A.
Yeah, I think we need to keep it a bit even, right? We
Yeah,
have
I
to
think-
make these
I think
harsh
it's fair.
decisions, man.
Yeah, I think that the stuff we have up in S is is pretty fair. I'll move speed down because speed is like, I think that's at the bottom of S, honestly, because it's like, yeah, there's very specific champions you want all stacked in speed.
Yeah.
And other than that, like it's a decent filler set, but I think as a filler set, it's good, but I think it's no better really than the
Yeah.
perception stuff. Ooh, stun set. That's another good set. I'd say stun
That's
is
a
probably A.
nice solid A around where the crit damage is, or the what's the
Oh, down
instinct,
here.
whatever it's called.
Yeah, instincts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah. I think it sits nicely along these kind. Maybe actually no, next to the hex one maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should probably move up.
Yeah, I think Doom Tower, right?
I think it's
Because you
more.
don't need accuracy to
Yeah.
place these debuffs. It is very powerful. Like
Yeah.
I remember Mighty Uko's bloody stunning me every 2 seconds, man. Um, yeah, stun set is something I do look towards. I would say it's not good for bosses. Obviously, you can't stun bosses,
Yeah.
but it's very good for progression. So.
Gotcha. I'm gonna demote at this point because we might get more good sets in. I'll demote crit damage to top of B. Maybe here.
Okay.
Yeah, just because the top is getting a bit full. And basically, I'm looking at it. I'm going like crit damage is great, but I do think cruel is a good bit better, and retaliation, like they're just doing more.
Hmm.
Immortal. Anyway, what's that? This one is swift parry. This used to be real good. I feel like this is
Um,
not very good anymore.
I really like it, right?
Do you? Okay.
But I tell you why, because you're getting the main reason I would say like worse, but it gives you 18% speed,
Yeah.
30% crit damage, and that chance for unkillable when hit with a fatal hit.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say it's very niche nowadays. Like I use it on my Kandrathon is an example.
Okay.
But it does nowadays we need to be ignoring a chunk of defense, right?
Right.
So I'll probably say maybe high B alongside Stalwart.
B. Okay. Yeah, we can put it in B. I think
Yeah.
the problem with Swift Parry for me is that like Stone Skin and Bolster,
Hmm.
Defiant are so much more powerful
Yeah.
that it doesn't get much use.
Like back in the day, I would have sanctioned maybe an S tier, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, back in
last
the
year,
day, it was like the big thing, and then
yeah.
Stone Skin came along. I was like,
I
"Yo,
just,
I'm so much better."
I just don't know if anyone actually, you
Right,
know, wants
right.
to use it nowadays.
Toxic. I'd say this is very niche. This for me is a C. I think.
It's a C, yeah.
I
Around the
think.
Furies, the destroys, just around
Yeah,
that, yeah.
I think so. Like, yeah, it does what it does well, but
It's
not
very good in
super
clan
useful.
boss, very good for
Yeah,
maybe dragon progression if you're not a poisonous.
yeah.
Outside of that, you're not going to be using that past mid game.
Okay.
Actually, saying
Untouchable.
that, saying that, I got on my Seeker, Sash. I
Okay.
need to take that back.
Untouchable then. This is better immunity.
It's an
Gives you.
A in my opinion, near taunting.
Okay. Yeah, I could go
Yeah.
with that. I could go with that. I think.
We have to take our mind away from the meta in high-end arena and just think about
Mhm.
the average player. I
Yeah.
think it's a huge counter to big problems in this game with like these crazy debuffers like a Prince Kaima, for instance. Like if you can, put a Sky Touch Shaman in Untouchable, resist it, cleanse of all the sleeps, and get back into the fight. Like,
Yeah.
it does have very good counter values in arena. So
Okay. Okay. Right. I'll go with that. For me Frostbite, I would put in A as well. I think Frost.
Frostbite, it's a two-piece set that one, no?
So yeah, it's basically the two-piece version of Frost. What I think makes
Yeah.
this so valuable, and I think it's going to be more valuable with the polymorph nerf because you won't get polymorphed off the freezes. Just that small chance to freeze, I think that works
Hmm.
really well, especially if you're stacking it with champs that are using polymorph and have the mastery that makes polymorph more likely to place. Makes the freeze like 5% more likely too. So I think it could be a really sneaky good two-piece. I used that in the faction games actually. For my Sylvan Watcher defense, and that was really good. It procced a few times. I was like, yes, okay, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
I like it. I think it's quite
I think
solid.
it is. I think it's got some good usage end game.
Yeah.
Early to mid game, I don't know how many people's using that.
Now you
Um,
wouldn't have any early mid game because you have to beat Frostbiter to get good pieces. I think it's quite
yeah.
worthwhile. For me, this is actually the set now that I farm in Doom Tower Rotation 1. I farm Frostbite. Rotation 2, I farm Guardian. Rotation 3, I farm Lethal. Those are my 3 sets I farm right now. For
Hmm.
me. There you are.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're missing the live arena sets. So I have to add those in. What do you think about Righteous?
Which one's righteous again?
It's the Forge Pass speed one. So it is. I think it's super good. 10% speed, 40
10%
resist,
speed,
two
40
piece.
resistance. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I think this is.
I'll probably put it in. I'll
I
probably put it in A, man.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, like
I
high with the Guardian.
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah, I think it's super good.
I don't think it beats the speed and divine speed in terms of like speed stats if that's what you're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you
yeah,
want
yeah.
speed and resistance, it is very good.
Mm.
I just don't think it's. I wouldn't use it over the other ones maybe unless I needed resistance. But
When you think about it, it's very similar to perception in a lot of ways as well. Like you're getting
yeah,
more speed, but like less resist than you get accuracy. But like 10% speed for
yeah. Once again, I see it in a way where
good.
like if something's not farmable in game, I have to
Mm.
rank it a bit lower just because it is the
That's
monetary value.
yeah, that's fair. And then finally we've got I don't remember exactly what it does. Bloodthirst.
No,
It's like
that's the
so
kill stroke. No,
sorry, kill stroke. Yeah, so it
yeah.
is crit damage with I
Crit
think a
damage
small
plus
bit of
20%
speed.
with speed, so it's higher than the crit damage set.
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar as well, to be honest. Like this is not a necessary set, I think. I think it's better than crit damage, but not by much. It's my sort of vibe. Very similar to Swift Parry, really. Actually, these
Hmm.
together. What do you think about that? Let me see if
Yeah,
I
it's the
can.
one that we get from the clan shop, right? The kill stroke.
Yes, yeah, that's it. It's Clan Chop. Yes.
It's these. I do find myself using it, but how much value does it actually have? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to sit somewhere in that region of the crit damage set. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
What are the names of the two sets then from Live Arena? I don't even remember. Zeal is one. I remember that.
Zeal and
Impulse.
Impulse. Yeah,
Okay. Here we go. Got Hell Hades .com has provided pictures. Let me download these. Slap them in.
look, guys, I'm now shrouded by the mist of time on the screen.
Okay. Here we go. You're back.
Hello.
And we've got Impulse and Zeal, the final two sets. These sets are bloody hard to get, let me tell you.
Let me just double check exactly what they do because I cannot remember. I think one
Yes.
of them was pretty good. One of them was pretty meh. It was
I
from
think
what I
they're both
remember.
kind of met. Like Impulse is like reflex, but worse,
So
but gives some
Zeal
speed.
is crit damage 25%, 7.5% damage for every 25% HP the target has.
Yeah.
So it's better than crit damage by a long shot.
Okay.
It is. It has to be right because you're getting more crit damage bonus and you're dealing more damage against the amount of HP they have. So, but it's a 4-piece set,
It is.
so it's not ignoring
No, you're
defense though.
because it's 4-piece, whereas crit damage is 2-piece, giving you 20%. So it's
Yeah, I
like
just seen the 4-piece set there. It's not as good as I thought.
yeah, it's just the bonus damage for HP they have. I think it's sort of comparable against like 2 Savage and Lethal, but only if they're full HP. And I don't know. I'm not sure how the maths works out on that one. I probably put it in B, right?
To stick you, I don't know too much about it. I've not played with it enough to know
Yeah.
how it's scaling. But
We could just
from
leave them out
first
if
reading
we're not
it,
confident.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. I guess like for now, like off like first glance, I would say maybe just in the region of the crit damage set.
Yeah.
Just alongside there for now.
Yeah.
But you guys let us know in the comment section if you've got a lot of Zeal sets and you've tried it out. Let us know how you feel about it.
Yeah.
I haven't had enough sets to really, get the true value yet.
Yes. And then Impulse is 12% speed, which is nice. 4-piece. 30%
Ooh,
chance to reduce a skill. So it is not
that's
as good as Reflex.
yeah.
Is where
But you are getting the speed in there. It is nice.
the Reflex, though, it's a 40% chance to reduce. So you're going from a 40% chance to a
To a 30,
30%
but you
at
get the speed.
the trade-off of 12 speed. I think it's
I don't think
okay.
I don't think it's a good trade-off.
No.
But in terms of the set itself, if we have got reflex in S tier,
Yeah,
we
it
cannot give impulse anything less than a top A
could be
or
it.
near
Yeah.
close A.
But
It
yeah,
has to be.
I'll pop in an A. Yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
I'd much rather. I think I'd rather have Reflex for that more consistent cooldown versus the little bit of extra speed. I'll say I wouldn't be surprised if they came in and they buffed Impulse to be the same
The
as
better
Reflex.
version of reflex
Yeah,
speed.
it's actually kind of weird to me that they made it not. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't play live arena, so it doubly doesn't make sense to me. Like the set should be tempting. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, there we go. We've done it. We have ranked every artifact set. Looking at it now, anything we want to change at a last look here, or are we fairly happy with how things look?
I don't like your frost set, but that's like I don't have enough.
Frostbite. Yeah.
It just looks out of place for me. But apart from that,
I'm telling
I'm
you, it's
not like
good.
I'm not totally against it. I think I just don't have enough knowledge on how it works because I'm not huge on arena, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe I'm just a bit out of touch on it. But
Yeah.
outside of that, I think we fairly. I think it's decent.
Yeah.
I don't see anything that screams out to me like, "Yo, what you doing there, man?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We're probably not more than like one
Usually,
tier
if
wrong
anyone's
in
gonna
anything.
argue with it, it's gonna be the C's or the F's. It's gonna be one of those that
Okay.
someone really disagrees with. I think one that people might talk about is maybe toxic because it
Yeah.
is very good for clan boss, but outside of that, it's niche, right? But
Yeah. I think it's pretty
yeah,
niche. Whereas like, like looking at the S tier sets, like these are like you're using these all over the place, basically.
yeah,
They're constantly being used. Thing with
100%.
the A tier, very common. Okay, well, there we go. Look, YC, thank you for joining me for this video. We're jumping over to your channel to talk about some underrated champions. And spoiled before we recorded this, YST was telling me, guys, that he's got some very spicy picks that he thinks going to surprise me. So I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, it's just gonna be Fenax.
Ah,
Nub raids.
now I'm
Do you know
happy.
what? Have you ever played Dragonair? Have you
No,
played it yet?
no.
There's actually me and Saf have got some characters in there, and there's like so many variations of you. So we've got old man nub raids, new man nub raids, the jester nub raids. There's a bunch of nub raids variants in there. I don't
Oh,
know, it's good.
I need to play this game, apparently.
Literally, I thought you were joking. That's
Oh.
like the name that we call them. It's funny.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you over on YST's channel. Goodbye.
See ya.